Yeah.
This person was originally, officially diagnosed with autism in 1999 at the age of 3. For most of his life, he spent considered considerably severely autistic. He struggled with a myriad of significant medical and behavioral issues, too many to list here. Despite years and years of therapies and specialized treatments, he's been unable to develop reliable speech. Additionally, over the years, he's had a great deal of difficulty controlling his impulsive and repetitive body movements and vocalizations. At school, he often struggled to engage in the learning process due to his limited communication as well as motor and sensory skills. 1 year ago this month, his story changed. He was working with his neurologic music therapist to explore new strategies to support his body awareness, motor planning, and communication. Following an introduction to supported typing, he began to demonstrate abilities in the area of spelling, comprehension, and expressive communication. He and his mother and grandmother visited Halo Clinic in Texas, and his abilities became more and more clear. He began to show that he had been locked inside a body that did not work for him, but that with specific supports, he could communicate full thoughts, feelings, and hopes for his future. He continued to work diligently to integrate his brain and body in therapy while practicing his typing with support on his iPad. Soon learned to type with his mom and eventually his staff once they had received training. However, you might all be familiar, or some of us familiar with this sort of however. At school, he is seen as severely disabled, remained assigned to a self-contained life skills class. In December 2013, he attended his own IEP meeting. For the first time in his educational history, he was able to share his thoughts, his feelings related to his education. He was able to request and access general education classes, specifically biology, math, and psychology. I'm going off script here, but it's one thing that I know people on a spectrum can do. They can request specifically. He was able to request support for his disorganized body. Until that meeting, Josh's IEP read that he, quote, has abilities below a preschool level, end quote. He continued to prove this statement wrong every day. Although he is readily able to learn the academic material presented in class, he found it extremely difficult to control his body and his voice in the general education environment of his high school without the necessary support for his movement differences, sensory struggles, and without a trained facilitator for his typing. He met with his IEP team several times over the next semester, advocating for himself and requesting the support he needed to be successful. He said he was anxious to get, quote, an honest education. Forgive me, I'm getting fired up here. Since the start of 2014, he's been a leader in his community, sharing with parents, students, therapists, physicians, and others about his journey. He has connected with other individuals with autism across the country who type to communicate, including the Indianapolis organization Saved by Typing, Carly Fleischman, and Edu Kedar. Am I pronouncing this right? Edu Kedar. I hope so, I apologize if not. He now writes a blog. I'll pause while you got out your pens or your phones so you can type this down. Josh and his praying heart on autism.com.
Yeah, boy.
And he has a following on Facebook. He has recently participated in 3 public radio programs and 2 newspaper articles about his story. He's also inspired a new school to open ahead of schedule in Evansville. Earlier this month, he became the first of several students to register for Access Academy, an innovative new private day school designed to support the public schools in his community to accommodate the specialized learning needs of people like himself and other students who are competent and capable to do so much, given the right supports. Now 17 years old, he continues to advocate for himself and for other students who have voices waiting to be found and minds longing to be challenged. And he's also my new hero. Excellence in advocacy, self-advocacy, Josh Berkau.
Yay! thinking me worthy of this honor. Meeting PO has always made me nervous, so tonight is a very big step toward my future experience with public speaking, a goal of mine. I worry about the awesome responsibility this is to represent people who type to communicate. There will be a day when presuming competence is the norm, but until then I will work to bring awareness and dispel the myths about autism that kept me locked inside this crazy body for 17 long years. Thank you to my grandpa Mike for helping with the school. Thank you to Casey for being my coach and Tammy for bringing me an education. Thank you to Gail for helping set up Access. Thank you to Brenda for supporting Access Academy. Thank you to Grandma Judy and my mom for believing in my abilities. Thank you to Craig for praying for me. Thank you to Ash for taking me with you in the car. Thank you to Linda for watching me. Thank you to God for this chance. Don't let any more people with autism suffer in silence.
I know a lot of 17-year-olds. Any 17-year-old. Regardless of what you think,
Great job, buddy.
Presuming competence, a day when presuming competence is assumed, is an incredibly wonderful and gifted young man.
Can you hold that up for me? Can I get your picture? No.